Hi, my name is Earl Holloman, and I'm president of an organization called Actors and Others for Animals. Actors and Others is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the humane treatment of animals everywhere. And it's in this capacity that I've been asked to introduce to you Dr. Michael Fox. Dr. Fox is one of the world's most distinguished veterinarians. Not only does he hold a veterinary degree, he also has a PhD in medicine and a doctorate in animal behavior. For 9 years, he was a professor of psychology at Washington University. Presently, he is the director of the Institute for the Study of Animal Problems for the Humane Society of the United States. He's a consultant to veterinarians, pet organizations, and zoos. He's a lecturer and a conservationist. He's also appeared on numerous television programs throughout the country. He writes a twice-weekly column, Animal Doctor, which appears in 150 newspapers nationally, and a monthly column for McCall's magazine. I'm told that his readers number in the millions. He's also been the author of more than 30 books, including the bestsellers Understanding Your Dog and Understanding Your Cat, and the current The Animal Doctor's Answer book. But he also speaks to children, and he's won numerous awards for his children's books. Dr. Fox has his own small menagerie at home, including a dog named Benji and 2 cats. He's married, and he has 3 children who share his love and respect for animals.
Here we are at the Los Angeles SPCA, Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So let's go and have a look and see what the adoption process is like, and also look at some of the animals too. When you get to the animal shelter and go inside, you'll see all varieties of cats and dogs, mongrels and pure breeds, and little kittens and puppies as well. So have one of the personnel there take you around so that you can help find the animal that's just right for you. There are various kinds of cats. There's the so-called alley cat that can be long-haired or short-haired, and then there are pure breeds like the Abyssinian, and they're almost like miniature mountain lions. And then there's the Burmese, which is a bundle of love, and the blue-eyed Siamese, that is a very vocal creature. And then, of course, there's the regular alley cat, tiger stripe or whatever, that can have a short or long coat. And I really advise you to think twice about getting a purebred unless it comes from a good breeder, because they do have genetic defects. And the experts can tell you how large these critters are going to be. They'll also tell you about necessary shots and give you literature to help you become a responsible owner. Remember to adopt the kitten ideally between 6 to 8 weeks of age. That's the best time for socializing to you. And decide whether you want a male or a female, because the animal shelter will probably insist that the kitten be brought back to be neutered later in life, just to help control the pet overpopulation. You may instead prefer an adult cat, like this gorgeous lady, who's just a bundle of fur and will be a very cuddly companion without you having to go through the growing pains of raising her. She's a little shy before the camera, of course, aren't we all? And as you go through the animal shelter, you'll see the cats in the cages, and it'll be very easy to find the right one for you with the right friendly temperament. And remember, a friendly cat will be purring, rubbing its head against the cage because it wants to rub against you, and its tail will be up in the air, the old friendly signal. And I generally finish up wanting to take them all, but you can find the one that's right for you.
Yes.
Some cat lovers think that it's one of the rights of cats to be able to roam free in the neighborhood and in the garden and so on. My feeling is that cats should be made into indoor pets. Give them a tree in the living room and make their environment conducive to their needs, because if they are allowed to roam free and get a taste of the outdoors when they're young, many problems can arise. They not only kill wildlife, they might meet up with other cats and become exposed to viruses and come home sick. They could meet up with rabid wildlife as well and come home rabid. Or in some areas they could be a coyote's dinner. Furthermore, as they become hunters and they kill small rodents, mice and voles, they will pick up tapeworms from eating the meat of those animals. And there's another thought too. As a young tomcat, and this little fellow is going to be a tomcat very soon, they want to go out and fight to establish their territory. And this little cat will come home bitten all over by the larger cats. And bite abscesses from cats are very painful and require extensive veterinary treatment. The best solution there is to neuter your cat. So all in all, if you really love your cat, keep it indoors. Let's talk about understanding your cat. Cat behavior. Cats express with their body language, just like dogs, their emotions and their intentions. And when you tune into that, you really know what your cat's feeling and what it wants too. Now, let's look at the face first. A cat who's very relaxed has fairly small pupils, but the more afraid the cat becomes, the larger and larger the pupils get. It's a clear indication of fear. They express their emotions in the face. A cat who wants to play with you will look at you like this and then just go plonk, flop over on one side. Let's look at this one's body language. I'm petting her and she's raising her tail. This is her social gesture, saying that she's feeling pretty good about this. We have a little kitten here. Hi, kitten. See the nose touch? Cats do a nose touch. That's a social gesture. And your cat will probably wake you up in the morning with a little nose touch. It's saying hi. And you can mimic the nose touch if you don't want to get your nose right next to your cat's, simply by putting your finger forwards. Hey, kitty. That's a social gesture in cats. They're very subtle indeed. Of course, tails are playthings for little kittens to play with. Come on. Some cats will actually lash their tails for the kittens to play with, and do it quite deliberately. Yes. Now, this cat is now giving me what some people think is a sexual display. I call it a socio-infantile signal. Little kittens present the hind end to the mother to clean. And sometimes it's rather embarrassing when your cat is being friendly to visitors. It'll jump on the visitor's lap and then present the hind end right to their faces. This is a reverse smile in cat language. Now, part of the body language is knowing the body parts of the cat where you can control its behavior. And you hold the cat by the scruff when you want to inhibit it. This is where the male will bite the female cat to immobilize her, and where the mother will carry the kitten. So this is a key area. When cats are expressing their intentions to each other, they will sometimes turn sideways and then stare and arch the back. The Halloween cat, and that is a display of dominance combined with fear. A very cool cat, however, who's just saying that it's boss, will just look right into the eyes of the other cat without twitching an ear or its tail. And the cool cat is the one who will advance very slowly and intimidate the other one to run away. So it's through eye contact that cats figure each other out and work out which one is dominant. Now, a lot of people think that cats are distant and aloof. You know, when you look at them, they'll just close their eyes as though they're ignoring you. But what the cat is doing is telling you that it's very relaxed in its presence. So, how to play with a cat? Well, cats, they get busy in the evening. I call it the evening crazes. And cats are by nature hunters. And in the wild, they go hunting early in the morning, which can wake lots of people up in the home and early in the evening, and they race through the house just going berserk. And encourage that. You can give them little things to chase. I don't know how playful you're feeling, but see, curious.
Mm-hmm.
Curiosity killed the cat. And just get them going with a ball of wool or a strip of fur on a string in the evening. Chase it around. And the more exercise, the better. Exercise stimulates their minds. Now, you can make your home a little more enriched for them, too, with this kind of device, a nice scratch post. So this is what I would call the kind of habitat to make your home a more natural environment for your cat. You can make one of these yourselves. This material, too, is great for their clawing. They need to have a scratch post. They don't just scratch to sharpen their claws. It's a display of excitement, too. You know, when you come home, they'll run to the scratch board or to the gymnasium and rake away just to show off to you, to see you coming home. Hi there. How are you hunters doing? Now, you see the cat poking its head out on the bottom. Yeah. There's a kind of a bald spot in front of each ear. Well, this is one of the scent glands. They have scent glands on each side of the head here and on the lips and under the chin. And when they're rubbing against you, they're anointing you with their own scent. And in the cat's world, those who smell the same stay together. It's a very subtle social thing. They're not just grooming themselves against you, they're marking you. And look out, people. Some people will put on a new perfume, like a French perfume that contains musk from a wild animal, and this will freak a lot of cats out. Cats have an exquisite sense of smell, and one of the ways that you can enrich their environment occasionally is to give them a little catnip to get high on as well. They really enjoy that. They will roll in it, and they will almost go into a trance. It's not an aphrodisiac. It's just simply a high. And the rolling that cats do, they will roll when they're in heat, and they'll also roll when they're in a state of intense pleasure with something like catnip. Do cats have 9 lives? 9 cats for 9 lives? Well, it's a bit of an old wives' tale, but there's a grain of truth in it. You know, when a cat is sick, it will just go into a corner or go into its little habitat hole like this and just stay there. When a cat is sick, don't over-swaddle it. Let it begin to heal itself. Of course, take it to the veterinarian too to check things out. Cats tend to withdraw when they're very sick. And this self-healing process, it makes it seem as though they're dying, that they're on death's door, and they'll withdraw for a few days and then suddenly snap out of it like that. And that is their way of healing. And this is part of the myth why they have 9 lives. They seem to be on the verge of dying, and then they recover. You know, there's something inscrutable about cats. Come on, cool down. They're just so more subtle in their behavior than dogs. They're rather hard to comprehend. But when you tune into them, you can find a relationship with a creature that is just as satisfying as a dog. But a lot of people don't like cats because you can't control them so easily. There are people who prefer dogs to cats and vice versa. The nice thing about a cat is that you meet the animal very much on its own terms. You can't control it. You can't master a cat. You can understand it and cater to its needs fine. They're very convenient, too, because being less dependent, they don't miss you when you're away at work, and they don't have to be housebroken. They don't have to be taken out for walks to mark their territory all the time. And kittens come already programmed to use a litter tray. All you need is a litter tray and show them where it is, and they will go right to it. Cats, you know, are originally desert animals, and they do like to lie and laze in the sun. So if you have an apartment cat, make sure that you have some window ledges. You can even put an extra little shelf in there with some carpeting on it so they can catch the sun during the day. This is part of their natural yoga. Cats really enjoy the gentle stroking. They groom each other too. You have 2 cats, they make nose touch like that, and then one will start gentle grooming around here. Sometimes they'll nibble each other's eyebrows off too. I wonder if one mate does that to another, that it will tell other cats this one's married because it has no eyebrows, because one cat can't take off its own eyebrows itself. Then you can mimic some of this cat licking by grooming your cat, stroking it, or by giving it massage. And for grooming a cat, I like a similar brush that I use with a dog. The wire bristles, yes, on one side, the wire bristles and the rubber for flexibility, and the bristles on the other side to give a shine. And just let it go through slowly and gently. Yes, yes, oh yes. And as you groom, just twist out the loose fur. I advise people to groom their cats every day, especially if you have a Persian, a long-haired cat, because the fur snarls, will make fur balls, and the cat just can't groom itself. It can't manage, can't handle a large coat. The grooming helps remove the loose fur that otherwise the cat would swallow. The cat has little rasps on the tongue that point backwards, and so anything that gets into its mouth it's going to swallow. And the fur builds up in the stomach and forms fur balls, which can cause indigestion problems and can even block the intestines and could kill your cat. So avoid the fur ball problem with a regular grooming. Yes, cat. Now, cats, thinking of sea, they do like seafood. But some cats are quite allergic to fish, so look out. One of the big problems with various commercial pet foods today is that dogs and cats can develop allergies, and you will find that on the best commercial pet foods there is a label telling you what's in it. It should first say it is a complete and balanced diet for health and maintenance. Don't feed your cat an all tuna can or your dog an all beef or chicken can of food, or just give something like this. Because plain meat is unbalanced. It's lacking in minerals, and it's lacking in fiber, roughage, and so on. So if you go commercial, when you feed your cat and dog, get a reputable brand, read the label, and don't go hog wild and try to humanize your pet and give it human food, or go wild and try to make your cat into a vegetarian.
The basic tools for emergency care for a cat is something to wrap it up in so you don't get scratched, and a box or carrying case to put the animal in so you can take it immediately to the animal doctor.
Here at this practice, we have the advantage of having several board-certified specialists. We have several board-certified internists, we have 2 board-certified surgeons, 2 board-certified ophthalmologists, and a lot of good, well-trained support staff that goes along with that. And I agree that a lot of the smaller communities are not going to have that specialized practice, at least in a private practice. And I agree wholeheartedly that they should, if they have a specialized problem, seek out university help. The veterinary school in their state is an excellent source of specialized care.
Health care for cats. Cats, just like dogs, have health problems, and when you get a new kitten, take it at once to the veterinarian for a general health check. Get a container for the same old stool sample, because kittens, just like puppies, can pick up worms and can be born with them too. And the worms in their intestines will suck away all the nutrients and could kill your kitten, or at least stunt its growth. So as soon as you get your new kitten, take it to the animal doctor, and the doctor will tell you what kind of vaccination program you should set up too. Because at different weeks, the old injection is given again, just as with a puppy or an adult dog, to protect the cat from various viral diseases. Cats are extremely susceptible to contagious viral diseases, such as feline panleukopenia, or cat distemper, and cat flu. Let's talk about signs of sickness in your cat. In some ways they're similar to dogs, but also they're different because cats are not entirely dogs. But let me emphasize this. Cats and dogs are distant cousins in their evolution. One of the first signs of sickness in a cat is withdrawal. A sick dog will often solicit your attention, but a cat, when it's sick, will often withdraw and just stay in a corner. It's not responsive, it's listless, it goes to sleep. Look out if the cat is sneezing. Any discharge from the eyes here. Any sign of discharge, and this third eyelid going over. See, I press on the eyelid and the eyelid goes over. If it stays over the cat on both sides, chances are it's starting with a virus infection, possibly cat flu, and the virus will weaken the cat, suppress its immune system, and make it more susceptible to other diseases, especially if it's a little kitten and already has some internal parasites too. The combination of these things can shorten its life very quickly. So look out for the head end, the sneezing, the snuffles, the eye discharge. Some cats will develop a little bald spot behind each ear, and the owners think that's kind of funny and some scratch marks there, so they put some salve behind the ears. That's quite the wrong thing to do. The cat is trying to scratch inside its ear, but of course it can't get its paw inside the ear. A bald patch on each side here indicates that your cat has ear mites. And one of the signs for ear mites, and you look in the ear, is a brown tarry discharge. And you can get a Q-tip and just pick it out and see what the discharge looks like. Don't go poking around in the ear to clean it out because you can damage the ear. If you see a brown tarry discharge, that is one of the cardinal signs that your little kitten or your adult cat has ear mites. Don't home doctor, take it to the veterinarian for the proper prescription drug. Another area to check as a routine is your cat's mouth. Sometimes they will develop ulcers in the mouth and gum infections, and especially those back teeth, just as with the dog, they will sometimes develop, when they get older, a brown calculus or tartar deposit, and this can lead to a rotten tooth and an inflamed gum. It's advisable to feed the cat a little dry food or a raw chicken neck, some veterinarians recommend. Other signs of sickness in cats include rapid breathing, panting, and difficulty in maintaining its balance. This can indicate a neurological problem, sometimes related to these ear infections. Another sign, and by the way, the rapid breathing is often diagnostic of pneumonia. Another sign is diarrhea. Feline distemper, one of the first signs, just as with canine distemper with puppies, if it's not going to express itself as pneumonia, can appear as diarrhea. So every day, examine your kitten or your adult cat's litter box, just to see whether the stools are normal or not. Another health problem can be quite the opposite, and that's constipation in cats. And I advise, if you do suspect constipation, to get a mild laxative. There are laxative tonics that you can get from your animal doctor that will greatly help the cat. Other things to look out for general health, for little kittens and for adult cats, is the skin itself. If you start seeing some bald patches, sometimes a bald patch on each side, and this worries lots of cat owners, this can be related to a hormonal imbalance, sometimes related to neutering. And this can be corrected by hormone replacement. This little kitten has claws. I can stick her onto me. Let's see. Are you going to stick? Yes, there she goes. Now, a lot of people think, well, we have a little child, and the little child might get scratched, so let's get rid of the kitten's claws. I don't believe that the claws of kittens should be removed. It's part of the cat. If you're worried about furniture being scraped and ripped up, get yourself a scratch post for the cat. You can spice it with a little bit of tea made out of catnip as well, and put the cat against the scratch post or the kitten and make movements with its claws. Cats are copycats, and they'll very quickly get the hang of what they're supposed to do. Cats, just like dogs, have a body language, and the tail is a very important signal. The little vertical tail of the kitten is the following response. Come on, kitty. Come on, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on. Come on, kitty. Meow. This is a social signal. It means I have friendly intention towards you. It also means I'm following you. And this is probably one of the reasons why cats occasionally get their tails caught in the refrigerator door. They're giving the tail up signal, look after me, I'm being very friendly, and bang. Well, let's see what this little kitten does when it meets an older cat. Okay? Let's just put the other cat here. They've never met before. And let's see how they do. Now, back off. Yes. Okay, hold. Now, you saw the reaction there, that this adult cat hissed at the little kitten. Okay, let's take you off camera now. You're quite distressed. And hear the meowing there. The cat is very distressed. Why should an adult cat feel threatened or intimidated and have to hiss at a little critter like this? Well, this is part of cats' nature. They're not such groupies as dogs. And it can be a problem when you want to bring a new kitten home into your house and you have a resident cat. The resident cat hisses and runs away as though it's terrified. Occasionally they will attack, so look out. Cats are inscrutable in their ways. When you bring two strange cats together, give them time to get used to each other if you want to make or bring an additional cat into your family. Because one of the things that really triggers their antisocial behavior is because they don't smell the same. And putting a little perfume on the new cat and on the resident cat can give them a sense of shared identity. And this is one of the best ways of bringing a new kitten in the home where you already have a resident cat. And don't forget, the resident cat may start feeling jealous. It might start spraying or become unhousebroken. And being unhousebroken, there are many reasons for this in cats, but one of the most common ones is that the cat is emotionally disturbed by the presence of a new kitten or even a baby in the house. So don't jump to conclusions that the cat is simply being disobedient when it's unhousebroken. There's another problem of being unhousebroken with cats, especially when they get older. They start urinating, sometimes even at your own feet, and they strain and strain and strain. This is a chronic disease that cat owners must always be alert for. It's called feline cystitis or urinary syndrome. The bladder becomes inflamed, and sometimes the external urethra in the male can become blocked with calculi or sand, and so the cat can't even urinate. This is a chronic recurrent disease, and if you suspect it because your cat is becoming unhousebroken and urinating frequently and straining and clearly in pain and sometimes passing a little blood in the urine, it is an emergency. Take it to the veterinarian, and he or she will prescribe appropriate treatment, including a change in diet. Neutering your cat. There are many advantages in neutering your cat, somewhat similar to those for neutering dogs too. But since cats are a little different, there are some additional advantages. One is the fact that tomcats, as they begin to mature, will spray the house and stink it up. They're marking their territories with their urine. And when you castrate the male, you will virtually eliminate this problem, but not always. It's about 50 to 70% guarantee that you will not have a stinker when your male cat grows up, if he's neutered. There are similar health advantages to neutering a cat as a dog, one being reducing the possibility of breast cancer in a female cat who's been neutered, eliminating the possibility of uterine infection or ovarian tumors. But it is important when you are considering having your male cat castrated not to have it done too early in life. The older the better, because if he is neutered too young, the penis does not grow to an adequate size, and the orifice and the canal inside, the urethra, can be too narrow, and this will make the cat much more susceptible to blockage when the bladder becomes inflamed and the cat develops this feline urological syndrome, where there is sand or calculi developing in the bladder. This can pile up and block the urethra. So if the urethra is large and the cat has been neutered later in life, the possibility of a blockage and a real crisis on your hands is greatly reduced. Cats live much longer than dogs. A 12 or 15-year-old dog is pretty ancient, but I've met some cats in their late 20s. And just like old people and old dogs, cats need special care the older they get. They need a high-quality protein diet. Sometimes they need a special diet to help them with the bladder problem, or a heart problem, or kidney problem. So consult with your veterinarian frequently when you have an old cat, because geriatric cats have health problems that can be supported with proper nutrition and other kinds of treatments that might be prescribed. A lot of people wonder what these whiskers are for in cats and dogs and other wild animals. Well, these are like wind detectors. And this is very important for a hunter to know exactly the direction of the wind when they're tracking prey, because they use the wind to get the direction of where the scent is coming from. Another theory, too, is that these vibrissae, as they're called, the whiskers, might act as dowsing rods, like a water witcher. And the animals are very sensitive to the Earth's electromagnetic fields along their various trails. This might sound a little mystical, but try this one. Cats, in their frontal bones here, have an iron-like deposit which gives them a directional sense. It's like an internal compass. We have them in our brains too. Bees have them, and pigeons have them. And it's one of the extraordinary aspects of animal behavior research that is revealing some of the great mysteries of why cats, for example, can find their way home when they get lost. There's another intriguing aspect of our cat and our dog's anatomy, that just behind the front teeth here in the hard palate are two little ducts that go into a second scent organ. It's called the vomeronasal or Jacobson's organ. And this makes cats and dogs and other animals that have this organ extremely sensitive to various odors. The nerve connections go to a part of the brain associated with sexual and territorial behavior. And this is why cats, when they smell certain odors, will become sexually aroused or aggressively aroused. If I were to come home now, smelling of this strange cat, my two cats at home would investigate me and then hiss, not realizing that it's me, because they are so controlled by odor. It's a very potent part of their anatomy. Yeah. How about psychic cats? Well, it seems almost psychic that cats can navigate their way home with these little compasses in their heads, but there are stories of cats and dogs that have done incredible journeys. For example, this cat could be left in its neighborhood when its owners go to live in Oregon or somewhere. And 6 months later, it appears on their doorstep in Oregon, although it's never ever been there before. And they're able to know that it's their cat because it had surgery in its shoulder, and the pin is still in there. There have been many cases like this. And for me, at least, it just gives me a tremendous sense of awe and respect. And it also reminds us that there are great mysteries within the psyches of these beautiful creatures that we've yet to really understand. Dogs and cats love to be stroked, and cats, some people think they're incredibly sensuous, and I think they are. Look how this fellow is raising his tail. This is one of the social signals of a cat being relaxed and enjoying himself. He's a cool fellow. This one is 16, and he's an excellent candidate for regular massage. Massage has the same advantages for cats as for dogs as for human beings. It gives them total relaxation. If there is some painful area or a swelling, you can make a quick early home diagnosis and get your cat to the veterinarian early. It's also a tremendous advantage for the tense little kittens, because the more frequently you touch them deeply, the more they learn to trust you and enjoy that deep touch, the healing touch of the energy that comes out of your hands. There are various terms for this healing energy. Shakti is one from the East. Another is the healing power of love, because when you touch your animal with understanding and compassion, you're giving it something. There is a change in the animal's biological electrical field around its body, and there are specific points that you can touch and just hold the pressure. These are called acupressure points, and they go all the way down the dog or the cat's back, like this. For an old cat, this kind of massage, a little pressure, is extremely valuable, because their whole power, force, is along the back here. And they do get arthritis as they get older. Some of the other strokes included just a general, gentle kneading, as though you're kneading dough. You can do this when you're watching television or listening to some music, and cats do enjoy music too. Music is just as relaxing, but perhaps a little less potent than your loving touch. So let's get the system going. You begin with the head end here, the temporal muscles in front of the temples, and the masseter or jaw muscles. These are the chewing muscles of the cat. Then down the neck here. Cats and dogs love it behind the ears. You know, they're holding their heads up all the time. It's quite a lot of tension. And the cat only lets these muscles relax completely when it goes into the deepest phase of dreaming sleep. And yes, cats and dogs do dream, by the way. I don't know whether you're going to dream today with this touch, but we shall see. The basic anatomy of the cat is rather like that of the dog, but they're a little bit more springy. You see how the legs here are springing with the shoulder blade coming up here, and then the point of the shoulder here and coming back and down. So feel how these bones line up. This here is this here on me. This coming up here is this. And back here is the shoulder blade, which is way back here on me. So feel around and get used to massaging the muscles around there. When your cat gets very relaxed, you can even lie it on its side and extend and flex these limbs. This again is bringing about a reflex relaxation response. This is the first time that I've handled this cat. He's a very trusting fellow indeed. Yes. With a very relaxed cat, yours at home, might even lie on the side like this. Occasionally with cats and dogs too, I've literally mesmerized them to sleep with the healing touch. Towards the end of the massage, after you've worked around the shoulders and down the limbs here, and again all the way down here, here is the point of the hip. It's important to work around here, especially for arthritis in the hips that older cats get. The knee is here. Yes. Again, flex and extend the hind leg. Hi, gorgeous. Just as you would flex and extend the upper leg. When you've done both sides, turn the cat over and do the other side. Then, as you finish the massage, just do a very light passes all the way down. Never massage a cat or dog who is sick, especially one that has a fever. But massage is very beneficial for an animal that is recovering from surgery or from an acute disease when it's in the recovery phase and is beginning to heal itself. Let me show you another shot of the acupressure points. They go all the way down the back here. And just keep your fingers and just hold and then relax. Hold and relax. Hold and relax. Hold and relax. Talk to your cat in a gentle voice as you're doing this. Some cats find the initial massage a little too invasive, so just do 2 or 3 minutes. Begin by stroking and then do a little kneading as though you're making some dough. And your cat will eventually relax into that, and you can feel the muscles relaxing, and you can go deeper and deeper. Let's try you in another position now and see how you'll do. When your cat is relaxed and on its side, also massage its abdomen. This is important because when the cat is sick, it might have to have its abdomen palpated by the veterinarian to make a diagnosis for possibly a tumor or constipation or whatever. And if your cat is used to being handled in this way, it'll be much easier for the veterinarian to handle your cat. It will not be a scaredy cat. The more relaxed the cat is, the much easier it is for the animal doctor to diagnose various health problems. And regular massage will help your cat to become more relaxed, more trusting, and it will be beneficial because you're giving it energy, and you might be able to spot some sickness early on, and that could make a difference between life and death. Thank you. Introducing a young kitten into the home can be sometimes very easy. Notice how the gentle, wise Siamese here immediately sniff the nose. This is social, and sniffed the temporal glands here and here, and then gave a hiss at the kitten. but didn't swipe or bite. This is the dominant cat's way of saying, "Cool it, kitty. You approach me with humility." And the kitten is being quite passive. The kitten already understands this language. When you introduce a new cat, give them both time to settle, and don't forget that the resident one is probably likely to feel quite jealous, that its tail's out of joint, so to speak. So give the resident one extra attention, and if the resident one hisses and runs away, don't force them to interact. Just let them work it out for themselves. And in my bag, 2 cats are generally much happier and healthier than 1. But how about a kitten and a dog? That's another question. One of the tricks of getting them together is to get a very young kitten and a young puppy and raise them from early age on. But of course, if you have an older dog, what are you going to do if you want to bring it in a companion? I suggest there that you get, again, a very young kitten, but you must be on the alert because your dog might be jealous or might respond to the kitten initially as though it were prey. Let's reverse the scenario too. Suppose you have an adult cat and you want to get a little puppy. Well, there again, the resident cat might feel jealous, feel that its territory is being invaded. So give the resident cat lots of attention, help it feel secure, and eventually the puppy will be seen as a non-threatening other and a great companion. And it's just marvelous how cats and dogs do get on together once they're socialized. They will play hide and seek, they will groom each other, and they'll keep each other company when you're away at work. How are you 2 guys getting on? Yes. Oh, yes, sweet puppy. Sweet puppy. What do you think of this kitty? So introduce the kitty and let the dog sniff it and investigate. This one's more interested in me right now. My interest in animals goes much further than understanding and caring for your pet. I'm involved in trying to bring about humane reforms and, in a sense, to revolutionize the ways in which farm animals are being raised on so-called factory farms. And we're very concerned at the Humane Society, too, about vivisection, about the use of animals in medical research. And how about wildlife, too, subjected to hunting and trapping for non-essential purposes? I believe that animals have rights. I've shown that they have needs and interests, and animals have intrinsic value. They have their own interests and their own world. And it's up to us as their stewards, as their guardians, to respect their intrinsic nature and to provide for their needs as well.